The Huda Jama massacre took place after the repatriation of Slovenian refugees and anti-communist forces who had fought in Yugoslavia. They were repatriated in late May to early June 1945 after the end of World War II in Europe. This film will go over 5 main parts: the flight of the refugees, their repatriation in May 1945, their arrest, transportation, and detention, the Huda Jama massacre itself, which took place in late May through June 1945, and the discovery of their bodies many years later and confirmation of what had occurred. After the war had ended in May 1945 and the communists in Yugoslavia took power, thousands of former Slovenian home guards and tens of thousands of other anti-communist troops, along with thousands of civilians, including many small children, fled to Austria to avoid reprisals by the new communist government. They went north from Ljubljana through the Lubel Tunnel toward Vetring in Austria. That meant going through the mountains, and they went to ask the British for protection from the communist government. Once in Vetring with the British Army then forcibly repatriated those who had been Slovenian home guards but were now refugees back to Yugoslavia. This took place between May 23-31, 1945, and the British did so knowing that the refugees would face reprisals by the communist government. The British drove the refugees in trucks to this train station in Austria, where they then forcibly loaded the prisoners into cattle cars and trains at this station. Tito's communist authorities were waiting for the refugees on the trains, and they were armed. The authorities were made up of OZNA, which was the communist secret political police, and KNOI, which was its military counterpart. Number 3, transportation and detention. After the former home guards were repatriated to Yugoslavia, they were classified by the communists as enemies of the people. This was done despite the fact that many of the former home guards had supported the British by spying on the Germans. They were transported to various collection camps or concentration camps around Slovenia. One of the sites that they were transported to was the Barbara pit, which is near Huda Jama or Lasko in Slovenia, which was a former mine. We're here at Huda Jama. This used to be a coal mine. We're about to enter the tunnel. So just a few instructions. It's about 500 meters long. There are lights situated throughout the tunnel. We are going to have a gas meter with us, so in case it's too much, we might be asked to leave. We're going to be walking in single file down, and I'll go at the front with our guides. You may recall from all the discussions we've had this week that 1,450, we believe mostly all of Slovenians were killed in this mine, and this is a concealed
mass grave. The communists went as far to put 11 barriers of concrete and other material to prevent its discovery. It was opened around 2009 only, and there was one person that survived for some time, and they found his skeleton much closer to the front. And I think they'll show that on the way. So let's walk slowly, try not to fall down, and we'll follow the directions of the guide that we go in.
The Huda Jama massacre occurred in late May to June 1945. The killings of the captives at Huda Jama occurred after they were repatriated from Austria and they were killed in Yugoslavia. The captives were primarily former Slovenian home guards, but at the time they were repatriated, they were legally classified as refugees. The group also included civilians and other anti-communist detainees. They were brought to the Huda Jama mine and taken alive into the mine tunnels. This tunnel is 500 meters long. They were then executed with a shot normally to the back of the head, but they were executed all without trials. And again, these were people, the vast majority of whom were pro-Ally, anti-Germans, and they had risked their lives spying on the Germans, reporting military activities to the Allies throughout the war. The communists then sealed these bodies behind 11 separate barriers, 11 separate concrete walls, after they threw the captives, mostly dead, but some alive, down shafts. A comment on the barriers. This just wasn't a simple barrier. The barriers went 300 meters long. As we'll see in the video, the barriers are also marked, and you can see the numbers 3, 6, 8, 9. Evidence later showed that the victims were tortured before they were murdered, and their hands were bound with wire. They showed signs of suffocation, indicating that some were sealed in still alive. They threw many of the bodies down the shafts, but they ran out of room, so the bodies were also found in the main tunnel walkway itself. The fifth part I said we would discuss is the confirmation of their death. This site was systematically concealed by the Yugoslavian communist authorities for decades. It was not fully opened until 2009, when investigators uncovered remains of 1,450 people, mostly Croats. However, people in the town, in the village, were aware of what happened. They were simply not allowed to talk about it. So this was a well-known secret. This massacre is now recognized as part of the post-war communist mass executions carried out across Slovenia and Yugoslavia in 1945. In short, these mass executions, including this one at Huda Jama in Slovenia, they constitute the largest crime against humanity committed in Europe after World War II. On the last slide, you'll see a large pile of bones. This is what investigators found when they opened up the mine shaft and removed the 11 barriers, 300 meters of concrete that the communists desperately tried to hide the bodies behind.
But they basically split when they brought them down from Austria, going to Celje that way, and then the others went to Skofja Loka down in Kuchevsky Road. So on this end, there's a number of mass graves. This is one of the biggest ones.
The interpretation we had is that's where they were buried, at the Hadia. We didn't realize they were here.
Yeah.
And I still am not clear on
No.
that.
There are many at Celje, but they didn't. They certainly didn't kill them all there. No, but they were there. That was open about 2 months.
Wait, did they drag the dead up here?
No,
Or
they
were
were
they
alive when
alive,
they came.
and then
they were
they were all
alive.
shot in
They were
here?
alive, yes. And one survived, and that's why he crawled close to the entrance, because they were all alive when they went in.
The gunshots in an enclosed area like that. People's even, the survivors, the perpetrators' ears.
Yeah.
They took them in there and shot them in there.
Yeah, they didn't want to work carrying them in.
No, of
They go
course.
all the way 500 meters. They're going to make them walk all the way in. Yeah, they
That's
wanted
why
them
one
alive to do
survived
that.
a while and tried to
Yes.
get out.
Yes. Okay.
Still died. And
In contrast to the Nazi war crimes and more recently crimes such as the Srebrenica massacre in Bosnia in 1995, none of those responsible for these crimes in Slovenia have ever been prosecuted, held accountable, lost a job, or even been reprimanded by anyone in the country for the largest crimes against humanity committed in Europe after World War II.